Hey, how's it going? I sorry, looking for my cards. Kind of buried them under stuff. So, I pulled two, well, I pulled more than two cards, actually. I pulled one from, where did it go? Oh, there it is. The, animal spirit. I mean, the Shaman's Dream Oracle. I pulled one from the other deck too, but that's not what I'm trying to talk about at the moment. The card that I pulled was number 56, The Wall. And the subtitle is Obstacles. And number 56, 5 and 6 is 11. 11 is so many things, but I'm gonna go with right now a number of completion, but also joining, in the sense of the twin flame, and not the romantic version of it, but where you align your masculine and feminine energies that we all have inside ourselves, balance them out, basically, in such a way that they create a wholeness inside of us and make us a more harmonious person. So, yeah, this card is problematic because there's so much going on that every time I look at it, it's doing something different. So, and then of course when I put it in front of the phone camera, it does something else different. But I'll start with the first layer, and that is that it's the wall. And I see a door back here, and it's funny. The reason why, and it really is funny to me, have you ever seen a show where someone's in a stress situation and they have a bunch of doors to choose from, and they have to pick like one, and there's like a tiger behind one, and you open the other one and it's like sky, and you could just step out into space. Like, I don't know, like everything other than like another room being there. And I don't know why, I don't know what this means, but I saw this circular room of doors, and every door you open is bricks. It's all wall. Your selections are slim to none. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're just gonna have to sit there and wait, I guess. All of the doors open to brick. Yay. So, obstacles, right? But I don't know, like, I have been finding, not just like yesterday or something, but I would say the knowledge becomes more fulsome over the years, but I have discovered that obstacles are not really that. They are if you make them that. I mean, you can make your own life hard. You get to a certain age and that becomes a reality. And so once you realize it, it's up to you to like make your life easier for yourself, because few people are going to come along and volunteer to do it for you. So, and that's part of your 11, like a maturity within yourself to be like, make the decisions that would have been hard like 10 years ago, but because you've matured and learned things 10 years later, you may not do what you would have done 10 years ago because you know better. You might not know completely, but you know better. Like, I'm not going to do that way again, kind of thing. So, But the thing about obstacles is just like, that's not even something bad that's happened to you, right? It's like when something bad happens, we're like, woe is me, this is horrible, or whatever in the middle of it, and then later, could be much later, like 10 years, an occasion will arise where, boop, something that happened that 10 years ago, time that was so hard until it wasn't, you know, you remember something from it that just comes in handy. Some way of thinking, some little skill that you picked up back in the day, and it's just the thing that you need right now. So I have a kinder eye toward obstacles, I guess you could say. I'm going to read from the guidebook. The Wall. Obstacles. Being inconvenienced by life. Those inconvenient interruptions. Detours. Non-action. Opening the door to bricks. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You got to stay here and think about what you've done. Which I'm sure at one time, well, it was something that was said to me while I was being herded to the corner to think about what I've done, and that's what those bricks represent to me. Like, you have all these options, 7 of pentacles or 7 of cups, like all kinds of choices. Some of it might be good. You stick your hand in there and you get gold coins. You stick your hand in another and it's the Gom Jabbar or a snake or something. So you have to use your powers of discernment, and patience is key. I'm finding it very hard to develop, and I'm very late in even trying to do it in life, but you know, better late than, I guess. Anyway, just rambling. There are moments in your life when you are so geared up, so sure that you are on track, with such drive and momentum, that you are shocked and confused when you encounter a wall of bricks behind a door. This unpredictability occurs outside your ability to plan, regardless of if you've done everything right in alignment with the divine. It's imperative that you change your attitude now. That's adaptation on the fly. The temporary roadblock is not an obstacle to blast through. Okay, I just gotta interrupt myself. Earlier I watched a channeling done by Daniel Scranton, and it was the Thymus Collective, which is a non-physical group of intelligent energies. I'll just call it that. But they're like ascended masters and wise guys, wise people. And they're here to help us with the shift. And so they were saying about, I don't remember let me make sure I get this written down because I want to link it. E. What am I writing E for? E has nothing to do with anything. What am I writing? Okay. I wanted to write link Thymus video, and why did I write E? I feel like it means something since it was just like the first thing that came out of the pen. E, I'm here. I'm E. I'm here. Get over it. Okay. Oh, so what they said, Thymus, was that when you encounter obstacles in life, they're not there for you to like smash through them or destroy them. You can step over them or go around them. And I think when I heard that, the first thing I thought of was like the water analogy, like be water. Don't be disturbed or perturbed by obstacles in your way. Just go sluicing over and around it. No harm done. You saw it. You got a feel for it, like literally, and moving on. Which is, I'm sure, good advice, because what are you going to do This is not a room full of mirrors, mind you. This is a room full of doors, and they all have bricks behind them. And did you come prepared with a sledgehammer? Did you even know that this was going to happen? You can't really bash through them. You're going to run out of steam before the doors of bricks do, so don't fight them. They're, for now, again, telling you, sit down and think about what you've done. No smashy. The unpredictability occurs outside. Oh, sorry, already read that. It's imperative that you change your attitude now. That adapting thing. And also, I was talking about that yesterday. Like, what I have learned to do, and I'm so proud of myself. Although, I take it back. Because I can't always count on myself to do this, but eventually I always do. And what I always eventually do is, if I catch myself going negative, particularly if I'm not having a, like, interaction with someone else, like a conversation, if things start to escalate, if I'm by myself, I'm better able to sort of step back from it. But when you're dealing with another person and you say something, then they want to respond, and then you want to respond, and especially if it starts to get heated. And it is very difficult for me in that situation to stop and take a breath. Although something happened recently where I was just like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like I was just like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't keep arguing and fighting. I just kind of gave up that surrender thing, which is, you want to get there. Maybe not the way I have, but it's just a function of my having spent so much time on my own, only having to answer to myself and not being at all perturbed about my behaviors, and not being aware that I was having them. Because with me, I wasn't. You start dealing with other people, though, it's kind of like a flowery meadow with landmines. Not that they laid, they're your landmines. And when I say your, I mean mine. My mines. They're mines. Those mines are mines. Linguist. Okay, the temporary roadblock is not an obstacle to blast through. This is not an invitation to push harder, cancel other plans, or worry about who will win or lose. This is a stopping point to enable you to slow down and contemplate the part of the manifesting equation that you and everyone else forgets. What's that? I haven't pulled this card before, so this is new to me too. This is exciting. Life on life's terms will override your best laid plans. Yes, as inconvenient as it may seem, this experience is an important reminder that you are a human being, not a human doing. Perhaps you're being reminded of your mortality, or what you are, or that you are but a small part of a bigger universe, where your destiny interacts with others. What did I just say? I was reminded that I'm a part of a universe with other people in it and stuff. Your life may be meant to serve another purpose at this moment, and your attention meant to be directed elsewhere. You're being reminded of your mortality, or that you are but a small part of a bigger universe where your destiny intersects with others. So it's not all about you, or it's not all about me. But honestly, how often do you think that it's not about me? Get out of the way. It takes like directed action for me to be able to think about that. But the more you do it, the less, the more it becomes you don't even have to think about it. What is the word? I can't even. Maybe it'll come. For sure, when I'm done, after the camera's turned off, the word will come to me, because that's how it works. But you get what I mean, I think. I hope. Consider that this place of temporary non-action is exactly meant to be for you. Perhaps it's because all you desire and have set in motion needs time to coalesce and form on the other side. Gonna be watching that pot boil, I guess. Because it'll take forever if you're looking. Wow. Do you ever think about that? Like the pot boiling? Like that saying, a watch pot doesn't boil, I believe is the saying. It does eventually. I mean, what is that it doesn't boil? What did it move into, like a different time because you're looking at it? See, right there is what stopped me, because oh man, I didn't look it up after I talked about it before. There was a scientific discovery that there was an experiment and they were trying to figure out. It makes me think of that thing where if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Does it make a sound? Would it not make a sound because no one's there? Who's no one? Just because a human person is not there, there's all kinds of other life and beings there that have ears. Like, why would it not make a sound? We need to get over ourselves, us we humans. Like, we're so self-important. And why did I branch off? Oh, so the watched pot and the sound in the forest. Is it that time changes while you're watching the pot? Does it like stop because you're looking? So here's the experiment. I can't precisely cite what it was, but here's the gist. They were observing something, and I don't know how it came to this, but they figured out that before they started watching it, it wasn't doing what it was doing when they started watching it, which is to say that it took someone watching it to activate it. That was what I got to be the gist of that experiment. I need to look that up. This is terrible that I don't have the information to go along with it, but trust me, or look it up yourself. Maybe the description is bad to send you that way to go searching for it, but maybe you can find a way to search it from the breadcrumbs that I'm leaving. But like being in the room of doors with bricks behind them, and the watch pot and the tree in the forest thing, I feel like they all have some element of like a time element, an element of a time element, because especially the watched pot, because you're looking at it, it slows down, or you have switched speeds because you're looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking at other stuff, then time is passing, you're not paying attention to what it's doing, but it's doing what it's doing because you have set it on the fire, right? Or on the stovetop to heat. So you've done that, you know it's doing it, you know it takes a while. Sitting there watching it, you're not occupying or stimulating your mind as much as you would be if you were off. Not like if you left, but just like mentally off somewhere doing something else, or physically doing something else in the room or in the next room. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like you take your attention away from it. It's been set on its path to do what it's supposed to do, and it's gonna do it. And somehow stopping to sit there and watch that take place, and maybe with the anticipation of like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, I want whatever I'm boiling this water for. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, could that make a difference? Things are so strange once you start looking into them at a deeper level and understanding just barely concepts like time switches and things that weren't happening until you started looking at them. That's kind of bizarre until you get used to it. So I don't know what if I don't know what all of that meant, but there you go. Okay, so where was I? Perhaps it's because all you desire and have set in motion needs time to coalesce into form on the other side. On the other side of the time that it takes for the action to be performed, executed? Maybe? Patience is required now. Wasn't I just talking about patience? And the wisdom that this might be a great time to take a break and contemplate gratitude. Well, there's something there. This is a new habit, sort of, that I picked up. First, it was like, wake up and, I guess pray, but be thankful, same thing, for what you have. Like, I woke up this morning. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a beautiful rainy day. My cat's still here with me sleeping when I woke up. That is a big deal to me. I get to live indoors. Very happy about that. Thank you very much. I have pretty good health. Happy about that. That's a habit that I kind of got into. And so, but you can do that like at any time, And I have found that it's one of the ways that if I start feeling anxious or I have something that is, I guess, scaring me and making me feel insecure about whatever the thing is, it's very grounding to come back to those things, like to the here and now, and go, yes, that, but this right now here, all good. Be happy about that. And it's real easy because it's just right here. So it's also like including adaptability like at all times. Like, remember, you can do that. Like, you can just change your mind and change the whole tone of stuff. So it's easier for me when I'm not like all hyped up and wound up. But it's also, I am like the cat person with the chihuahua personality. I don't know. I get like very jacked up, high strung, and it happens real fast. And I'm just trying to learn how to get in the middle of that so my chihuahua doesn't have a heart attack. Okay, so patience is required now, and the wisdom that this might be a great time to take a break and contemplate gratitude. Well, if you're impatient, like I was just saying, that's another time where you could go, got all this right here, calm down. What is truly yours will never be walled off from you. I'm sure that's true, but you can sure like make it difficult for yourself to enjoy what you got there. So before I move to the other cards, and yes, I only usually want to pull one card, but sometimes what I want doesn't have anything to do with it. I just want to point out like some of the other things that I saw while looking at this. Pareidolia wise. So you can see there's like this sort of V happening, and there's dark triangle corners. That to me looks like curtains as a doorway drawn open and maybe like somehow secured to the sides at like the sides of the door, whatever. And I feel like it's before you enter the room, because Well, I just feel like that. And then this light here looks like it's one of those dangling ones. It's like an upside down bowl with a light bulb in it. Does that make sense? And so it's throwing down like a triangular sort of shaft of light. Not a very bright one, though. It's very dark in this picture, which is funny because I kind of keep my rooms that color unless I'm reading something. And I feel like there's a table here, and I feel like there's a... Am I on the right side? I'm not on the correct side. I feel like there's a woman sitting here, dark hair. You can see her pale face. Seems to have on like a reddish, flowery looking print dress. And she's at a table, like I said, and I'm looking at these white areas, these sparkly looking white areas, and at first I thought it was like a lace sort of situation. People do interesting things with tablecloths, and it looks like there's a darker tablecloth on here, and then this is like some sort of lace thing where I feel like she is doing like card reading on this table. She might have crystals or something there. It's just hard to make out details because of the dimness, but I thought it was interesting that these were so luminescent. And I wonder, like, this could be arms on an armchair, these two light areas. And that's why I was thinking doilies, but they're so sparkly. I don't know, it could be whatever they were made of. And when I put this in front of the camera, what I also saw was like this luminescent form. And where a head would be is where the number 11 is, or the number 56 is. It would be like a really pinhead, small head, maybe just a face. Or actually, don't incorporate that into the form. Do what you want. But what I see is arms coming down as if they're resting on the table, shoulders, torso behind this lamp thing. Well, like a pretty well built form too, like like pretty buff and everything, but also not solid. They almost seem as if they're made of threads, like a lace, because you can kind of see through them. And I don't know what they're doing, sort of presiding over the whole proceeding. So I thought this was like a woman, like, reading cards or something, but I didn't necessarily see anyone sitting in the chair with the two armrests with the lace on them. Doilies! Sorry. Fairy godparents! Or fairy godparents. Anyway, I just thought I'd point those things out. I do it on time here. Sorry, didn't mean to give you a view up my nose. So, I also pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck a few cards. First, I pulled elk, and I was like, I think I need more. And when I was shuffling, these other two came out. So the other was bear, and the third was dragonfly. So you got two earth signs and an air sign. Heaven and earth, I don't know why it made me think of this. But there's some kind of spiritual stuff going on. And this form, the humanoid form that I see back there, I feel like I said was presiding over the proceedings, but also more than just watching, they're affecting it somehow. So that's like very air to me. And then the human just sitting there, maybe with their crystals in front of them or in hand, sort of grounding into whatever they're reading. So, okay, I'm getting a chill, so I guess I was going in the right direction with that. But here's what happened with these other cards that I pulled. I didn't grab the book out because I got this so strongly. All of these are woodland creatures. And it is right now pretty cold. I mean, I have several layers. It's cold in this room because it's just built weird. There's like sort of, it's not insulated. And there's just places where drafts just come flying in, like unfinished areas. Like they built it and left it unfinished, so air gets in. So while the rooms I sleep in, like my living room, I sleep in a lot because I'll sit down in that chair. It's the narco lounger and just pass out. But also my bedroom, if I heat it, it's plenty warm, but I tend to keep it chillish because I have lots of blankets and stuff, and I read somewhere that that's a healthy way to sleep, with a cooler room rather than warm, hot air drying up like your whole breathing apparatus. That makes sense. So anyway, I pulled these, and see, this to me doesn't look like the season we're in now, fall. It might be like a late summer, but maybe not, because coming out of winter, it may also look like that. The sun is the it that I'm referring to. Also sun here, and what I felt like this time when I saw it was the bear coming out of hibernation. And then this also came out, which I associate with spring. So the overall vibe I got from these when I pulled them was spring. As if maybe once we figure out what's behind the doors and make clarity for ourselves, well, it's gonna take a while, you know, like maybe a whole fall and winter. And I feel like that's kind of reflected in like American society. And I talked about this yesterday, and then like everybody and their dog has talked about it since then. But the bro down in Congress, or whatever that was, every time, especially like the Republican Congress, who are the most vocal and most ridiculous, my opinion, don't have a cow, it's not the end of the world, like it doesn't really mean anything unless you make a big deal of it, so please don't. Anyway, the Congress people are some of the worst behaved people I've seen in my life that are adults. It's kind of crazy, because they're the same people that want to tell you how to run your children and your life. And I always get kind of like, ooh, up in arms, because I feel like, wow, I so don't care what you're doing with your life as long as it doesn't cause me and mine to suffer some kind of injury. Do what you want. And not just me, don't just not injure me. Try not to injure everybody, because, I don't know, it just seems like a good policy. Why start stuff, you know? So, I just feel like these people want to, like, be the arbiters of how to, like, have children. Well, first of all, always deal with your own stuff first, and like before you try to go messing with other people, and let other people ask you for help. If they're doing something that you don't like, why do you know it? Why do you know what they're doing in their life? Unless it, like I said earlier, hurts or injures you in some way, you know, negatively impacts your life, well then, yeah, okay, you can have something to say about what someone else is doing with their life, or the kid they raised that possibly did something you disapprove of to your kid, and maybe it's right for you to be disapproving of it. But I'm talking about people that make it their business to worry about with people they don't know, many multiples of people they don't know. It's like, What? Mind your own business. And it's good if you mind your own business. For you, for everyone. And we need to, regain that posture, because we have, lost it. And when I say we, I mean them. Of course, I lose it pretty regularly on my own scale of things, but you'll find that affects you so much less than what a Congress people can do if they would ever legislate. We should be glad that they can't get it together to legislate, because if they could, they'd probably do something really terrible. They already have done terrible things. And it's again, you are reaching into other people's lives and interfering when your thoughts and feelings don't have to affect everybody else. And you don't have to be affected by what everybody else does, because we're all our own contained little world. But we forget that, and you can't predict how it's going to come back at you. But someone said something earlier in what I was watching, and they were like, you don't want to do the bad things to other people, because eventually that's going to come right back around and smack you up similarly. I am paraphrasing. Anyway, I feel and I have been saying this, and it's of course, something's going to happen. Something's always going to happen. That's how the progression works. Something's always going to happen. Although you might have a temporary layover in a room full of doors that are bricked up when you open them, but only because you need to be there for a while, because sometimes you just end up there because your pot of water needs to boil unmolested, or you just need some time to, I'm gonna liken it to me yesterday, day before yesterday, actually, Monday, when I woke up after the many downloads weekend that had me so slow and sluggish, dial-up. Took a while for enough flow to happen for me to get back to normal. So I think I end up in the room full of doors a lot. They're not obstacles. And so, yeah, we should appreciate them instead of just bashing them and trying to get through them in a hurry. And yes, patience. Because things are going to have to happen the way they're going to happen that we don't necessarily have any control over. So sit down, be quiet, and think about what you've done in the meantime. It's not like you did anything wrong unless you decided that you did, and then you got to worry about that yourself. Yeah. So yeah, feeling anticipation, and it's it's good that it's getting wintry and cold and travel less than inviting. So it is a period of introspection. We will hibernate in our human way, and that's a good thing. And probably by spring, hopefully a lot of stuff that is kind of an obstacle and not necessarily, holding us back, but not in a bad way. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we need to hold back and don't hold ourselves back, and that's when the universe intervenes with your wake-up call. Thank you and good night. Oh, wait, did I finish what I was saying? Yes, something's coming. I've been feeling anticipation. Haven't you? But something is always coming. But we kind of have some idea of some things that are coming because they're publicly viewable. Thank you and good night. There's, I'm sure, mysterious stuff we don't know about on the way, too. Bye.